few days ago, I was looking through the window to a tree. It was a windy day, and the tree was moving. It was beautiful, beautiful. And I was there. But it came the thought, I want to die, because I want to see this tree forever. My question is, who is related the sense of seeing to the fear to die?
You had the experience when you were seeing the tree that you wanted to die? No, that you didn't want to die. I see, you didn't want to die because you wanted to see the tree forever.
When it was the experience, I was in the heaven. It was fantastic.
Yes.
But the thought came that I don't want to die.
You don't want to die because the experience would go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the experience to last forever, you have to die. You think you have to prevent death from taking place in order to experience that beauty forever. It's the opposite. What you're actually experiencing in that moment, when you're totally overcome by the beauty of nature, you are experiencing the absence of the separate self. That's what beauty is. The collapse of the distinction between a self in here that sees and an object called a tree out there that is seen. When that collapse takes place, the experience that shines is called beauty. Beauty is the experience of the death of the separate subject in here, the seer, and the corresponding disappearance of the seen object out there. The collapse of these two, the subject and the object, the seer and the seen, is the experience of beauty. So, if you want that experience to remain forever, or rather eternally, you have to die. The separate self has to vanish. Beauty is the death of the separate self. It is the true and only self of awareness shining in the experience of perceiving. Beauty is to our perceptions what love is to our feelings. It's exactly the same in love. If we want to experience love, we have to die as a separate self, because the separate self is itself the denial or the veiling of love. The separate me in here and the separate you out there, these two have to dissolve in order for love to be revealed. In fact, it's the other way around. When love is revealed, these two collapse. It happens simultaneously. So it's all the separate self longs for is love or happiness or beauty. But this is the one thing it cannot have, because its very presence is the denial of that very love, happiness or beauty for which it seeks. So you have to see that clearly. You were touched. There's something about this perception, the tree, precipitated this collapse in you. And you experienced beauty, which the mind later attributed to the tree. No, the beauty doesn't live in the tree. Beauty is another name for awareness shining. Beauty is like awareness unveiled. So nature gave you that little gift. But now it's for you to find your way back there. And what we're doing in these meetings is finding our way back there. In fact, the separate self doesn't even need to die. That is, a statement such as that is a concession to the belief that there is a separate self in the first place. It's even easier than that. We have to see the absolute non-existence of the separate self, and then to take that understanding into the way we feel the body and perceive the world. So the desire to want to die is not a desire to want to die as a physical body. That's not the real desire. The desire is to be relieved of the wound of separation. And the way to be relieved of the wound of separation is to go to the intimacy of your own being and discover what it is. We know that it is. We know that I am. But we have to go further than that. We have to discover not just that I am, but what I am. And there is really only one way. There's only one way to what we essentially are. There's only one way to awareness, and that is through awareness. There's no other way. All other ways are preliminaries. But in the final analysis, the only way to awareness is through awareness, by awareness, in awareness, as awareness. You have to be that. Take your stand as that. Explore what your experience, which means what its experience of itself is. To abide as that. All these ways are only leading to that. That is the home straight. The home straight, the final furlong, the last lap. It's your final PhD thesis. Everything else has been leading up to it. This is just it's like a kind of finishing school. Sooner or later, you see, in this approach, we don't discipline the mind at all. The mind is given complete freedom to go wherever it wants, to go in the direction of objects, to whatever it wants. Because eventually, if the mind is given complete freedom and it explores its experience, there's only one place it can end up, which is in the heart. In the heart of awareness. All roads lead there. But when, in this approach, when the mind returns to the heart, it does so through understanding, not through discipline. So we keep taking off on all these excursions, we explore all these ideas, but all the time we explore them and we bring it back, or it brings itself back to its source as pure awareness. That's what you're seeking, just to be that, to abide as that. That's the death you're seeking, and you can go there any time. Just keep going back there. When the mind takes off again on one of its excursions towards an object, whether it's a physical object or a subtle object or whatever object, just ask the mind, where are you going and why? And it will always, almost always reply in the same way. I'm looking for an object to make me happy. Just remind thought that what it's looking for is in the other direction. It's not in the direction of objects. It's been doing that for decades. If happiness lived in the acquisition of an object, state, or relationship, we would have found what that object was by now. It's not there. I just continually remind thought of that fact. If it's looking for peace, happiness, and love in a situation, object, relationship, or state, it is going the wrong way. And suffering is the reminder that thought is going the wrong way. Suffering is an expression of the intelligence of the body-mind, reminding us thought is looking for what it longs for in the wrong place. That is the message that suffering always gives us. So when you find your thoughts going off, seeking happiness or peace in an object or situation, just remind it. Don't discipline it, but allow it to rediscover for itself the direction in which true happiness lies. And then thought will come naturally to rest in its source, in the heart. That is the experience of beauty.